गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Jnaneshwari Bhavartha Deepika, chapter 18, verse number 42, OV number 835, 6. The verse that we are looking at is Shamodamastapah Shaucham Kshantirarjavamev cha Jnanam Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. What is being talked here? A Brahma Karma. What is Brahma Karma? Can Brahman do any karma? Can reality do any karma? No, it cannot do any karma. Just as from water's point of view, there is no movement of waves, or no waves only. From the white light point of view, there are no 7 rainbow colors. Similarly, from Brahman point of view, there is no karma possible. Yet it is told Brahma Karma. Why? This is the Vedic acceptance. And what is that? We are not Janmaja Karmaja. What we are accepting today in society is Brahmana, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra by Janma, by birth. Here we are talking about karma, karmajam, not by janmajam. Nobody is living up to be a Brahman. What are the signs? Only a Janayu is a sign. That is stupidity. So what are these? These 9 qualities are told here. Shama, Dama, Tapa, Shaucham, Kshantihi, Arjavam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam. When these 9 qualities expressed through a person, we are not talking about a person practicing, doing sadhana to gain these 9. We are not talking about that. We are talking about when these 9 swabhavena, naturally express through the person. He doesn't have to think that I have to control my senses, I have to control my mind, I have to be straightforward, I have to do tapasya at mind body manasa vacha kaya level, that I have to forgive, that I have to be straightforward, arjavam, jnanam, vijnanam. He doesn't have to think. It is natural. As natural from you, the father or mother is expressing, and all activities are directed by those roles because you have accepted them. When a person has accepted that he is Brahman, he cannot be anything but Brahman, then these qualities will naturally express out of that person. So all activities that will express out of that person will be expression of these 9. That is called Brahma Karma. There is no individuality there. There is no ego there. You understand? He is one with these nine. He is not trying to get these nine. And we can start again. तरी सर्वेंद्रियांची आवृत्ती घेऊनी आपुल्या हाती बुद्धी आत्मया मिळे ये कांती प्रिया जैसी ऐसा बुद्धीचा उपरमू तया नाम मणिपेशमू तो गुणगा उपक्रमू जया कर्माचा आणि बाह्येंद्रियांचे घेडे पिटूनी विधीचे निदंडे ने दिजे अधर्माकडे कहीची जावो. He says, just as a chaste wife embraces her husband in private, so the intellect of a Brahmin along with the senses meets the self. Can the intellect meet the self? I think I was explaining this last week. Can the intellect meet the self? Intellect is a product of conditioning, desha kala vastu. What is Brahman? Transcendental, beyond desha kala vastu. So how can a limited intellect become one with the infinite? Not possible. Can the waking intellect, which makes the decision, I want to sleep, I want to sleep, I want to sleep, can the intellect become one with the sleep? Analyze your experience. Don't take anything for granted. Analyze your experience. That does your waking intellect, which thinks of sleep every night, does it come to know sleep?
No.
No. Similarly, the seeker who is in waking state, when it contemplates, but now you get to sleep, you merge into sleep only when you become totally focused on sleep. Then what are your activities when you are thinking of sleep continuously? You are not ironing your clothes because you want to sleep. You are not wearing suit and boot and tie because you want to sleep. Then what are the karma that is expressing because your mind is focused on sleep? Putting the lights off, changing into night clothes, getting into the bed, making sure it is warm or whatever. You have a glass of water, the cushion is in the right position, you are turned in the right angle, your breath is proper, and then you think of it and you want to just surrender yourself to it. So all these activities, did you think of these activities or they happened spontaneously? Why did they happen spontaneously? Because only one focus of your intellect, I want to sleep. When our focus of the intellect is only on the Brahman, automatically, spontaneously, these 9 qualities will start expressing through you. You know very well that to know Brahman nothing needs to be done. You are already Tattvamasi, you are that. Then what will you do? You will only contemplate, you have to accept, you have to stop thinking about Brahman, about reality. Then automatically these 9 qualities spontaneously, swabhavena. Swabhav is of the jiva. Swabhav is of a conditioned entity. Swabhav is not for the unconditioned entity. See? Just as a chaste wife embraces her husband in private, so the intellect of a Brahmin along with the senses meets the self. Naturally, the intellect along with the senses meets the sleep. Every night it happens to you. It's not that senses are looking out, this karenge, ye karenge. No, when you go, all faculties go with the mind, with the intellect. This serene state of the intellect is known as self control, and all his actions arise from that quality. All actions arise from the sereneness. Sereneness is not possible when the intellect is focusing outwards. When the intellect is focused inwards, towards the source, towards Brahman, towards Atman, towards the Lord, then alone it becomes serene. Oh, but it thinks about the sleep also. It doesn't, it becomes serene, but ignorantly serene. It comes to know that it is serene, it is quiet, it is at peace only after it wakes up, not while it is sleeping. But here, when we are contemplating, we are conscious, we are awake, we are alert. By choice, we are contemplating on the reality. Then the serenity which expresses is of a different caliber, not the one like sleep. You know it there and then. There is no lag that afterwards I will come to know. No, there only you come to know. That very moment. The second quality chastises the unruly sense organ by showing them cudgels in the form of scriptural injunctions and prevents them from going away. So, again and again, for the senses, what do they want? They want some data, they want to get involved. What the second one is Dhamma, isn't it? Shama Dhamma, Tapas Shaucham. Dhamma. Shama was control of senses, Dhamma is, Shama is control of mind, Dhamma is control of senses. So here Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying that the second quality chastises the unruly sense organs by showing them cudgels in the form of scriptural injunctions. When we are continuously engaged with satsang, scriptures, listening to scriptures, reading scriptures, chanting the Ramayana, chanting the mantra, we automatically integration comes. If not, when we are listening to satsang, every class some क्या कहते हैं थप्पड़ पढ़ते हैं, spiritual थप्पड़, spiritual sticks are being showered on us because we have, because of our extroverted tedness, we are reminded again and again. The scripture shows the spiritual stick. If you don't do this, otherwise. If you don't do that, otherwise. Because consequences are there. So when the senses are again and again involved in satsang, scriptures, it keeps remembering not to go the wrong way, but to go the way that is worthy, which will give him peace, tranquility, and everlasting peace. Injunctions and prevents them from going astray. This now continuing. तो पैगा क्षमा विरजा दमू गुणू जेथ दुजा आणि स्वधर्माची आवोजा जिणे ते जेका सटवीची ये राती न विसंभिजे देवी जेवी वाती तैसा ईश्वर निर्णयो चित्ती वाहणे सदा तया नाम तप ते तिजया गुणाचे रूप आणि शौच ही निष्पाप द्विविध जेथ मनभाव शुद्धि भरले आंग क्रिया अलंकारिले ऐसे सबाह्य जियाले साजिरे जे का तया नाम शौच पार्था तो कर्मी गुण जये चौथा आणि पृथ्वीची परी सर्वथा सर्वजे साहाणे. He says in the 836th OE, this quality which lends a helping hand to self-control is known as restraint of the senses. Just as on the 6th day of the birth of a child, The flame of a lamp is watched during the night so that it does not get extinguished. So he keeps thinking of God all the time. This is known as austerity, tapasya. Tapasya means what? Three kinds: manasa, vacha, kaya. By kaya level, body level, you are serving the Lord. Where is the Lord? Either in the temple, or if you are understood, then the whole world is the expression of the God alone. Serve Him. The whole world is reality. You don't know that. There is some shortcoming. The third eye has to open. Till it opens, because scriptures are saying the world is nothing but God, you are seeing the different people and different, uh, what do you call, the five elements, the five breaths, past, future. That's your fault because of incomplete knowledge. So if scriptures are saying the world is essentially God, then serve God, purify yourself. Joyfully serve, not cribbingly. Vacha, sing the name of the Lord, chant the name of the Lord. Manasa, contemplate on the Lord. The only theme is the Lord. Kaya is outside, Vacha is outside and inside. When it is Vaikhari, it is outside, Madhyama is in the inside, and Pashyanti and Para is also deeper inside. See? So this way, do the tapasya. Tapasya is you do from your mind the theme of the Brahman, the reality, does not go away 24/7. Today only I was telling someone next door, if a mother is at home and her child is supposed to come at 3 o'clock from school, and if he is delayed by 15-20 minutes, she is doing whatever is required to be done at home at that time, preparing the meal because the child is about to come, keeping it ready, doing whatever else she has to do. But in the back of her mind, continuously the thought of the child is there. Can we cultivate that? It's a knack. It's a knack. It will click only when you are intensely identified with someone or something. Then it will keep coming in your mind all the time. So if it is not coming, means we are not intensely desiring. Mumukshutvam is not there. So here he says, just as, so here example is given, I didn't know about this, that once the child is born, on the 6th day, the lamp is not allowed to extinguish. So the parents make sure, keep a vigil all night on the lamp. So you keep a vigil 24/7, that the lamp, meaning your focus, your contemplation on the reality, does not extinguish, is not hijacked by the world or some other thought of the world, some memory, some experience, some siddhi. No. Continuously burning without any flicker, continuously contemplating on the reality. That is what is told here. So he keeps thinking of God all the time. This is known as austerity, tapasya, which is the third function of a Brahmin. So Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying it is a function of a Brahmin. What I told you in the beginning, better will be we are in tune with the divine to such an extent that these 9 qualities spontaneously, without any effort, they express through you. Among these functions is the quality of purity. Purity is shaucha, the fourth one, which is twofold. The mind is full of pure thoughts and the body is adorned with good actions, thus making the life pure both internally and externally. What is external? Many people I have seen, many people, in the name of spirituality, they are absolutely a pig. Even sannyasis I have seen. Their room is so cluttered, so dirty, so haphazard. They don't know where is what. I've been to ashrams, their table is full of mess. Not one book is in place, not one pen is in place. Is that a sign of spiritual growth? Or is it a sign of a confused mind? Shauch is very much required. Every day, 2 times bath, physical. Going to brushing your teeth, toilet, etc. Keeping your surrounding. Every day, thoda jhadu maar lo, clean kar lo. Every night keeping your kitchen clean and then going to sleep. Not getting up in the morning and first thing that big heap of dirty dishes is there and your whole day begins with a cribbing. My God, no, again I have to do the dishes in the morning. Nobody else is there to help. As you go along, keep cleaning. As long as you keep things in their place, as you go, hardly any work. External. You have to live with awareness. Drashta bhav has to be there. What is that? You are living with awareness, not throwing garbage here, not throwing garbage there. Placing all the things, clothes, chappals, everything in proper place. When you start doing that outside, that habit outside which is physical, our mind recognizes physical very easily. Then that quality translates into the internal. Then we learn how to bifurcate our thoughts. We put each thought in its place. You go into that folder, you go into that folder. You are not required, you are not required. Actually, no thought is required. See? Cleansing. Very, very important. Not only the outside surroundings have to be clean, the body has to be clean, the speech has to purify, and the mind has to purify, the intellect has to purify. What is the mind purification? Mind purification is good emotions, good bhav. And what is good thoughts? And what is good intellect, pure intellect? Pure intellect is where there are no desires. No wrong concepts come. And even if they come, you have the faith and the trust in the scriptures that you are able to invoke what you have studied, what you have heard, in order to counteract the wrong notions, the wrong ideas, concepts, which may in the childhood and youth and teenage they have been cultivated. The society has loaded it onto us, but we don't accept that. And in the mind, the desires. So purify that. O Partha, and that is the fourth quality found in the actions of. Please put your audio off. And that is the fourth quality found in the actions of a Brahmin. Again, I am repeating, and I'll keep repeating till the 9 qualities are over. And what is that? That these qualities must naturally, spontaneously flow through you. There should be no, oh my God, I didn't do that, and feel guilty. No guilt. Naturally, when you are in tune, automatically it will flow. In tune with the higher, in tune with the Brahman. Continuing. Now the all enduring power like that of the earth is called forbearance. Next one here, 8, what is the number? 841. ते का क्षमा पांडवा गुणजेथ पांचवा स्वरा माझी सुहावा पंचमू जैसा आणि वाकडेनी बोधेसी गंगा वाहे उजूची जैसी कापुटी वळला उसी घोडी जैसी तैसा विषमाही जीवा लागी उजुकारू भरवा ते आर्जवा गा साहावा जेथीचा गुण आणि पाणीये प्रयत्ने माळी अखंड जचे झाडामुळी परी ते आघवेची फळी जाणे जेवी तैशे शास्त्राचारे तेणे ईश्वरूची ये कुपावणे हे पुढे जे का जाणणे ते येथ ज्ञान. He says, the next one, where are we? This is the fifth quality of the actions of a Brahmin, which is as sweet as the fifth musical note. And what is that? Forbearance. The forbearance is dhruti actually, but here they are in Jnaneshwari Bhavarta Dipika, it is given as Kshama. And what was in the verse? Shaucha Kshanti. Kshanti. So let's see what he is saying. Which is as sweet as the fifth musical note. The river flows straight to the sea even if its currents are crooked. Or the sugar cane has the same sweetness even if its joints are irregular. So, to behave in a straightforward manner with even a hostile person is the sixth quality known as straightforwardness. So, straightforwardness is arjavam. And what they said for forbearance or kshama, kshanti is forgiveness. This is one of the big quality of all sadhus. Sadhu not because you are wearing a sannyasi color. Sadhu by swabhav, forgiving by swabhav, not holding a grudge against anyone, even if it is a criminal. See? Very, very important quality. And then the next one is told arjavam. Arjavam is straightforwardness. Straightforwardness in Hindi is saralata. Simple and straight. Arjun was simple and straight. When such a person says something, it is without any beating about the bush. Sweetly he will say. Sometimes it can be misconstrued as arrogance. But he is being straight. He is calling a spade a spade. That's it. At least a person, he is not saying, oh, there is something like, it has got that and it has got a stick, and what is in the end you will come to know it is a spade hai yaar, khatam baat. बात का बतंगड़ नहीं बनाता. जो है जैसा है वैसा बता देता है. As it is, he will place it in front of you. That is straightforward manner. And example given is, river is crooked but it flows straight to the sea. The sugar cane has many knots but the sweetness is pervading from top to bottom. So when you see some Mahatmas like Akkalkot Maharaj, Shankar Maharaj, They are very, very angry type. But sweetness from top to bottom. For that you need an eye. And how will you get that eye to see the divinity in them? In spite, our attention is on their gross speech. Our attention is on their big eyes and the stick in their hand, and that person throws stones or hits with sticks, that he abuses. Do we have the eyes to see the divine in that person? And all, if you read biographies of different masters, all Mahatmas are different. Krishna even was called Ranachod, Chittachor. He says, I am a thief. He even did the crime of taking away the clothes of the gopis. See? And yet we pray to him. Gajanan Maharaj, continuously the chilam is on, yet we pray to him. Ramakrishna Paramahans acting mad, yet we pray to him. Ramana Maharishi absolutely silent, yet we pray to him. Akkalkot Maharaj very fierce, yet we pray to him. So to behave in a straightforward manner with even a hostile person is the sixth quality known as straightforwardness or arjavam. Next, just as the gardener waters the tree at its root and labors over it in the full knowledge that his labor will find its reward when the tree bears fruit, so that by which one knows that by performing actions strictly according to the scriptural injunctions, one attains the Supreme Self, is knowledge. What is jnanam? So we have done that first line. Shamodamastapa shaucham kshantir arjavame vacha. First line of the shloka is done. Now jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. Jnanam, what is jnana? Here Jnaneshwar Maharaj says jnana is a person was told, go and water the tree, the bush, it's too hot, go and water the leaves. So, बुद्धू आदमी क्या करेगा? He will take the water. The teacher asked, why did you spend so much time to water the leaf, water the plant? He says, you said water the leaves. So I went and put water on each leaf, and this was going on for a few days. The plant was dying. Why is it dying? Why is it dying? The leaf doesn't have the power to soak in the water and nourish the tree. We have to water the roots of the tree so that automatically the entire tree is nourished. What are we doing in our life? We are watering our leaves. What are the leaves? Our five senses are our leaves. We go after what our eyes like. We go listen what our ears like. We go after what our tongue likes. We go after what our mind likes. And in the end, we are disturbed, dejected, depressed, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, can't focus. Why? You are dying from inside. Nourishment is not there. If food is taken and only touched to your lips and put away, yeah, I gave the food. Hey, Baba, that food has to go into your mouth and get assimilated into your body, and then the energy will come. Then the whole body is nourished. Just touch the skin. I gave it to him from outside. Similarly, the world, if we are taking the world and only going after what the eyes, what the five senses like, what the mind likes, we are not nourishing ourselves. We have to go to the root. And what is the root of this whole world? What is the root of this whole body? What is the root of these five senses? The mind. What is the root of the mind? The intellect. What is the root of the intellect? Jivatma. What is the root of the Jivatma? Avyakta, Shakti. What is the root of the Shakti? Paramatma. Hold on to him. Then and then alone, the entire will get nourished. This is knowledge. This is knowledge. Many people come to us. Swamiji, this book says that. One person was there. So many months, 2-3 months I gave him one page from this book, one page from that book, one page from that book, and मैं तब नया नया था, ब्रह्मचारी बन के आया था. I was also all on fire. Some student is there, he such a keen fellow, I think I should, by nature we have to serve. But नया मुर्गा मिला है, चलो अपना ज्ञान बांटो. बांटते गए 2-3 महीने के बाद मेरा दिमाग पक गया. उसका पका के नहीं पता नहीं, मेरा दिमाग पक गया. Means my mind had enough of teaching, because this fellow was going in the loop. He is not understanding the concepts. He is just getting excited by reading some page or some paragraph in a book, thinks about it, comes back, asks the question. I was absolutely novice, so I will give so much energy in explanation. But like an idiot, I was kept busy, but the other was enjoying the foolishness of a brahmachari who is enjoying talking and sharing his knowledge. But nothing is sticking. Why? No systematic. What is he doing? Even though he is asking questions about the scriptures, but no systematic approach. One line, one paragraph, one word from this book, that book, this book, something like this knowledge doesn't come. This is like giving water to the leaves or to the petals. We have to feed the root. And then when that person was told, okay, take this Bhagavad Gita, read 5 pages every day or 5 verses every day, and only those verses will be answered. Questions from those 5 verses will be answered. Suddenly a different person. Same way. Foundation is very important. Remember our 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What is the foundation? Dharma. What is Dharma? Paramatma is the ultimate Dharma. Dharma is not Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo. All that is good. That will come in the way. But what is the ultimate duty? The ability to focus on the divine and by His grace be able to see that there is only divine everywhere. There is nothing else other than divine. Then Father is also divine, Mother is also divine, Guru is also divine, the world is also divine. This transformation must come about. This is our ultimate duty. This is our Paramo Dharma, Parama Dharma. Rest is all secondary. You are not born a husband, you are not born wife, you are not born a son or a daughter. You are born as a human being. And what is the main purpose of human being? Parama Dharma, to attain the truth, to think of the truth, contemplate on the truth. From where will you get it? From the scriptures, from the satsang. You don't need it from outside because it is in you, you are pervaded by it. But till we feel that we are, I don't know why then why I'm not experiencing it, then why do I feel I'm separate from it? Then till you have this type of feeling, and it is only coming because you are identified with this body, till then you have to study the scriptures. And one day by grace it will click. So here he says, where are we? The gardener waters the tree at its root and labors over it in the full knowledge that his labor will find its reward when the tree bears fruit. So that by which one knows that by performing actions strictly according to the scriptural injunctions, not according to what we like. See, one is the Dharma Shastra. One Dharma Shastra is the Manusmriti. What are the do's and don'ts? And there are many Mahatmas have written about it. But we are not talking about that Dharma Shastra. We are talking about Brahma Karma. What is that, if you want to take it from an individual point of view, what is that which will bring us closer to the Brahman, one way you can put it, or will allow all the actions to be the expressions of divine. Nice. And that is only will be possible when our attention is on the divinity. So right now I am a teacher. All actions for this 1.5 hours will be, especially in this 1.5 hours, will be only pertaining to being a teacher. See? Automatically, there is no thinking required. So when our mind, our intellect is continuously contemplating on the Brahman, the reality, then the ensuing karma, because in Prakriti activities will always be there. But Prakriti is dedicated to Brahman. Shakti is always dedicated to her to Shiva. When she moves away from Shiva, she has to take birth somewhere. She makes a mistake and she has to take birth on the earth and again rediscover her divinity. But when she is continuously, even though he is in meditation, she is there only looking at him, ruminating, meditating, enjoying what a great husband I have. Then she never goes wrong. She never commits a mistake. Then all activities out of her are for the blessings of the whole world. But when she moves away from the Lord, then even though she has powers, but they become not destructive to the world. That may be a consequence. But when she doesn't listen to him, when she doesn't is not focused on him, when she is not identified with him, that he is the whole soul of my being, then she commits a mistake and she herself destroys herself And so many stories are there. One famous story you know of Sati, who immolates herself because she didn't listen to her heart. Her heart is Shiva. She did so much tapasya in order to get Shiva. And after getting married, she took him for granted. Every time I tell you to go somewhere, you never go. I am going. Go if you want to go. Shiva never says, don't go, don't go. He will tell her once, twice, but when she insists, go. Same way our mind. Let it be hooked on to the divine. If it goes out, the inner conscience says, hey, be careful, don't go. It will lead to destruction. It will lead to irritation. It will lead to some unwanted consequence. Once or twice, the inner voice will come. Just like when you are eating food, the inner voice says, enough. But you say, what enough? I had only half a gulab jamun. Why can't I have one gulab jamun? After so many months I have had gulab jamun. After so many months now, mask is not to be worn. We can go out free. Yahoo! And break all the norms, all the precautions that have kept you safe till today out of the desire to be free. You will break it and there will be a consequence. So remain dedicated to the divine. Only when we are dedicated to the divine is the root. Urdhva Moolam Adhashakam. The root has to be fed. And what is the feeding of the root? Attention. You have to give attention to the root of not only yourself, but the entire creation, and that is the divine. Then automatically the trunk, the branches, the leaves, the fruits, the flowers, everything will get nourished. Yes, many leaves will fall, many branches will break, but the trees, the Vatavriksha lives on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. In spite of losing so many fruits, losing so many flowers, losing so many leaves, because the nature of the leaf is to come, to become green, and when the fall comes, drop away, so that a fresh generation comes. But we don't do that. We hold on to the memories. We want the same leaf to continue till the last breath. क्या बोलेंगे अभी? कितनी बार बोल चुके हैं ये? No rejuvenation. Body is changing. Age is increasing. But we are not changing. I am this body, but body has changed. And what do you cherish? Only the memories of the past. Nobody has learned how to live in the present. When we are focused on the divine, there is no place but the present to live in. You cannot go anywhere else. The mind will not go anywhere else. It will hold on to the feet of the Lord. It will hold on to the thought of the divine. And so find its reward when that by which one knows that by performing actions strictly according to the scriptural injunctions, then educate yourself, yaar. Attend more and more satsangs, and so many are available. Learn. Pray to Lord. Don't decide. Pray to Lord. Lord, show me the right bring me the right satsang, so that I don't get caught up anywhere, which releases me once and for all. Satsang must make you fall in love with the divine, not fall in love with the person who's speaking. See? That I can't stop that. I, I am in love with my teacher. I'm in love with the Lord. I'm in love with Brahman. I'm in love with scriptures. I'm in love with Adi Shankaracharya. I'm in love with Maharishi Vedvyas. Because without all of these, who are expressions of the one divine, I wouldn't have this opportunity to contemplate, and I'm in love with all of you, because without you, I won't be able to share all this. This is loud contemplation that is going on. Where do we get this chance of such in-depth analysis of ourselves for 1.5 hours without any distraction? See? So our utter faith in the scriptures, and pray. We know that we will make mistakes, so pray to the divine that you express through me. You make me follow the scriptural injunctions. And scriptures, when we are talking scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad and Brahma Sutra, what are they telling? You are Brahman, Tattvamasi. That is the ultimate knowledge. Don't go after anything else. Everything else that is told is only to come to this point. Eight 46th OV. No, sorry. OV. Where are we? ते गा कर्मी जिये सातवा गुण होए आणि विज्ञान हे पाहे एवं रूप तरी सत्व शुद्धीचिये वेळे शास्त्रे का ध्यान बळे ईश्वरत्वींची मिळे नष्टंक बुद्धी हे विज्ञान बरवे गुणरत्न जेथ आठवे आणि आस्तिक्य जाणावे नववा गुण पैराज मुद्रा आथिलिया प्रजा भजे भलतया तेवी शास्त्रे स्वीकारिलिया मार्ग मात्रा ते आदरे जे का मानणे ते आस्तिक्य मी म्हणे तो नववा गुण जेणे कर्म ते साच. He is saying, this knowledge is the seventh quality in a Brahmin. Then when the intellect merges, what is after that? After that, jnana, vijnana. Next is the quality is vijnana. Vijnana is the eighth quality. Then when the intellect merges definitely in the nature of the self, then what happens? At the time of purification of the self resulting from scriptural knowledge or the power of meditation, it is said to be realization. This is the eighth gem in the form of quality. So what is Vijnan? The application of the knowledge. First is becoming convinced that the worthy goal to pursue in life is Brahman, the divinity. Vijnan is the science, the technology, the methodology. And what is the methodology? Methodology is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Abhyasa enudu kaunteya, regular practice. And what is the practice? Not to do yoga. By body you will never come to Brahman. By pranayam you will never reach Brahman. What you have to do? Your mind must merge into the reality. Your mind must merge into sleep. It must be sucked into sleep. Then alone you are sleeping. When your mind, where what is mind? It is mind where the individuality is expressing. When that mind is sucked into the reality, why is it sucked? Because it is contemplating on it with the bhav of surrender, sharanagati, and not only just blind faith, it is with knowledge. Where did the knowledge come from? It came from scriptures. Listen to how Nachiket is within 3 boons. He's gained everything that is there. He will gain everything that is there to be gained. The earthly, the heavenly, and the infinite reality. Have we got a plan for ourselves? Or are we moving around in this world like a headless chook? जहाँ हवा आती है वहाँ पे हम चले जाते हैं. Like a blade of grass in a tornado. Wherever the wind goes, we blow. Wherever the society takes us, we go. Or have you charted a proper plan for your evolution? And there is nothing wrong. I am this body, yes, this is my truth at this moment. Set a 1 year goal, 5 year goal, 10 year goal. That I will be body disidentified, I will be jiva identified. Expand, melt your personality, melt your ego. For that, alert living is required. Not alert living towards the world, alert living towards the root. That is knowledge. Now there will be many pulls and pushes in the world, many distractions, many attractions, but you find time every day to connect with that ultimate one. And as you start doing it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever is convenient and comfortable, joyful. If you do it too long, then maybe for 2-3 months you will never do it again. Do it in small doses, but let those doses be frequent in a day. 10 seconds is also okay, but do it 100 times 10 seconds, 50 times 10 seconds, 10 times 10 seconds, whatever. Begin somewhere. Then those 10 seconds will become 30 seconds of contemplating I am, and yes, slowly it will move to 1 minute. Then as it grows, then the inner pull will come. And when the inner pull comes, you can sit for half an hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour, whatever. Slowly the capacity increases. Capacity to sit undisturbed in body and mind is directly proportional to your surrender, your love, your thirst for the divine. But people do it the other way. What is that? If I do yoga, then I'll be able to sit. If I do pranayama, then I will be able to sit. Ulti Ganga bahate hain. They make the means to be the goal. Arey, focus on the goal and let the means help you to come to the goal. But we must be very clear. Meaning, we must be convinced with faith, with Shraddha, what the scriptures are telling, what the ultimate aim of life is. So chart out you write wills for your family, you plan your finances so meticulously, you plan your food so meticulously. When people are coming, what an elaborate menu is organized. and you roam here, there, shopping, cutting, cooking. Have you ever spent that much time with interest contemplating on the divine, singing his glory all by yourself, just within, eyes closed or eyes open, doesn't matter, but thinking about him, that how he is not separate to me or I am not separate to it. In fact, he alone is expressing through me. Then what will be the consequence if he is expressing? देखो, तुम गायब हो जाओगे. You will vanish. You meaning the individuality will vanish. The I will vanish. So conviction comes by faith in the scriptures, that is knowledge. Now to pursue that knowledge, that I am that reality, I am that Brahman is all that there is, everything else is imagined in that Brahman. For that, technology has to be put in place, and that technology is meditation. That technology is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying Dhyanam, but the sequence is listening, reflecting, and contemplating and meditating. Contemplation / meditating. And what is the result? Emergence, Samadhi. प्लान करो, अपनी लाइफ प्लान करो. डोंट लिव जस्ट एट द मर्सी ऑफ द नेचर एंड सोसाइटी. प्लान योर एवोल्यूशन. You plan your evolution very well at financial level, at relationship level. Now, at this age, just now I know one person, he has a baby, a 4-year-old. Then I went to Bhiksha, I said, "Oi, produce one more." So they, thank God, I shouldn't say thank God, but they took it to heart and उनका दूसरा अभी कंसीव हो गया. तो प्लानिंग की है कि भाई 4-5 साल का गैप होना चाहिए. Then you plan, I'm going to be with the children for the first 10 years, then I'll start looking for a job. ऐसे भी करते हैं लोग. प्लानिंग हो रही है. Should we live in a 1-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom? With one child, what's the need of 3-bedroom? We'll live with 1-bedroom. 1-bedroom is enough for, and we can save the money, collect the deposit, then buy a house. Planning. Do you plan for your spiritual evolution? Do we plan for merging into the divine? Not tomorrow, not day after. Today, now. Have we got a set plan? You have a plan. I want to get to bed at 10 o'clock because 7 o'clock I have to get up and go start work at 8 o'clock and have breakfast in between. With that commitment, are we working towards our ultimate goal of life? See, all this must happen spontaneously. This will happen spontaneously when we feed the roots. How do you feed the roots? I am repeating again. By giving attention to the root. Giving attention to the body and breath is only watering the leaves and petals. Giving attention. Where is the attention? Attention is not in Paramatma. Attention is not in Atma. Attention is in the mind. The mind is attentive, even though it can never come to know the truth, can never come to know the Atma, but it can intuit that there is some power because of which I am alive, that everything is functioning, that everything is. Who is that? What is that? Where is that? Where can I? They say he is not other than me. Then why am I not experiencing it? This is knowledge. And meditate, Shravan Mananam Nidhyasan is the application of it. Work towards it. Work towards it. This is the eighth gem of the in the form of quality. Belief, astikyam. Nasti, Nastik, Astik. Astik is the one who believes in God. Nastik is the one who doesn't believe in God. Who doesn't believe in God? Who does not believe in the Vedas is Nastik. The one who believes in Vedas is Astik. Now, I will put one question to you. Are you Astik or are you Nastik? If you say you are Astik, and I say if you are Astik, if you are having faith in the Vedas, Vedas are telling there is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Do you accept? Or has our mind been brainwashed by the modern society, by the faulty teachings, ideas that Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are the castes and we must get away from it? We are not talking about the caste. We are not talking about the varna. We are not talking about the color. We are talking about the karma here. Person may give badi badi lambi lambi छोड़ते हैं, you know. They spin yarns. People spin yarns. They talk about truth. They talk about reality. They talk about God. How do you know that person is committed to that goal? Because speaking anyone can do. I am also doing it. But how do we know? By watching that person, that is he still committed to God? Are his expressions an expression of the divine? Does he take ownership of the actions? Then we come to know. And if the expressions, the swabhav of that person, and that swabhav will determine what activity expresses through him, and if in him the activity is these 9 points, he is a Brahmin. Other way, if, as Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying, if the Brahmin, as a Brahmin, he is committed to these 9 which take him to the doorsteps of Brahman, the reality. So here he says in the Astikyam, where are we? This is the 8th gem in the form of quality. Belief in the existence of God is the 9th quality. As the keeper of the royal seal, whoever he may be, is served by the public, so whoever follows the path laid down by the scriptures is endowed with this quality. The possession of this quality is an eminent degree is the true function of a Brahman. Such a person, he continues, because he is continuously thinking of the Brahman, the reality, the divinity. His actions are also continuously an expression of that alone. He does not go out there to earn money. He does not go out there to improve the world. He does not go out there for satisfying his desires from the world. He is having all these qualities what are mentioned here. And such a person, he automatically, he, even though he is not a king, but even the kings bow down to him, because he is the beholder of the reality. He has attained the reality. He has seen God. He has experienced God. When Vivekananda ji asked Ramakrishna Paramahans, "Have you seen God?" He didn't answer. He asked again. He didn't answer. He told him, "Go away, come back another time." Again he went, far away he used to live. Again he came. "Have you seen God?" "Go away." Vivekananda was very strong, very boxer, wrestler. Again he came. He said, "Have you seen God?" "I want to see God. You show me if you know. Otherwise you don't know." Something like that. Then Ramakrishna said, "Yes, I know and I have seen." "Then show me also. Are you qualified? Have you a plan to purify?" All these qualities must be there for the divinity to reveal itself. The wife has to be there for the husband to reveal from inside of you. When wife is not there, husband will not reveal. In front of your children, the husband will not reveal. In front of the children, only the father will reveal. When will Brahman reveal? When your mind is completely, the mirror of the mind is completely clear of all thoughts, then Brahman reflecting in the mind, Brahman will reveal. For that, meditation is required. Single pointed, without wanting a conclusion. Without fear. A relaxed attention is required. A relaxed alertness. A relaxed alertness, the word is poise. The word is awareness. Be aware of the awareness itself. Nothing is required to be done there. You cannot do anything. The technology is given by the scriptures. Here is one more. Cultivate these 9 qualities. Or allow, keep contemplating on the truth. These 9 qualities will automatically express through the person, through the seeker. And that seeker, here is Brahmin. Such a Brahmin is the king of all kings, of even the kings, and the whole society puts him on a pedestal. Why? Because he knows the truth, he understands the scriptures, he is putting what the scriptures are saying, the ultimate goal. He is practicing that in our life, he has experienced it in his life or working towards it. He is not interested in the worldly gains. See? So when Nachiket goes to Lord Death, in the next boon he will say, "I want to know that by knowing which everything is known." He says, "I don't know that." He says, "I know you know." Nachiket says, "I know you know. Otherwise you couldn't have got the position of death." This, how does Nachiket know? He just has faith. Unshakable faith that the person who he is in front of, the Lord Death, Lord Yamraj, he knows this knowledge. We approach Mahatmas to test them. We don't approach them with faith that this person, oh, how can Yamraj know the truth? He is bringing all the souls, he is going and collecting the souls. Those who are dying, he is giving them, sending them to heaven or hell. How can he come to know the truth? How can he be the... No, Nachiket had no doubt. Absolute faith. He even did not have doubt in the words of his father. Absolute faith. But not blind, with understanding here. Because he had faith, his faith was positive oriented. As the keeper of the royal seal, whoever he may be, is served by the public. And Brahmins are, who are these Brahmins? If you want to take it, such people who are committed to the divine, live for the divine without aspiring for anything from this world. So the society takes care of them, gives them food, gives them clothes, gives them whatever their basic needs are, without disturbing them too much. He doesn't even want to spend time in cooking. Why? He spends all his time in contemplation of that. So he goes for bhiksha. See? And people feel blessed that Mahatma has come. They give him whatever they can. And he's satisfied with that. He doesn't become a burden. If he has gone to someone's house, he will not go again for 5 days. The possession of this quality is an eminent degree in the true function of a Brahman. Astikyam. He is a believer. He is not a non-believer. Buddhism, the nihilist philosophy, came as a reaction to the Vedas. But that reaction to Vedas came because God, 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 temple, 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 and nobody came to help because the religion had got corrupted. And Buddha Bhagwan, when he went to God, God did not answer. So he went and did tapasya. And over a period of time, he became totally Nastik. Not us. I shouldn't say, I take those words back. He was not Nastik, he was Astik. But he believed only in the infinite, without form. But he did not accept the Vedas as the authority. He did not accept Vedas as the authority. So whoever does not accept the Vedas as authority, we say they are Nastik, they are the nihilists, they are the non-believers. Because our foundation of Sanatana Dharma is the Vedas. 851st. एवं नव हि शमादिक गुणजेथ निर्दोख ते कर्म जाण स्वाभाविक ब्राह्मणाचे तो नवगुणरत्ना करू यया नवरत्नांचा हारू न फेडीत ते ले दिन करू प्रकाशू जैसा नाना चापवळी पूजिला चंद्रू चंद्रिका धवळला का चंदनू निझे चर्चिला सौरभ्ये जेवी देवी नवगुण टिकलगा लेणे ब्राह्मणाचे अव्यंग कहीची न संडी अंग ब्राह्मणाचे आता उचित जे क्षत्रिया तेही कर्म धनंजया सांगो ऐक प्रज्ञेचिया भरोवरी भरोवरी. He says, In this way, wherever these 9 qualities are seen without a taint, that is the natural function of a Brahmin. Natural function. It is not said practiced function. It is not said that the Brahmin is practicing these 9 qualities. It is a natural, swabhavika, the word used there. That is the natural function of a Brahmin. Thus, a Brahmin wears a necklace of these 9 gems and is verily the ocean of these 9 gems, Ratnakara. Just as the sun is always endowed with its light, or the jasmine tree is decorated with its own flowers, or the sandalwood tree is permeated by its own fragrance, so these 9 virtues are the spotless ornaments of a Brahmin and do not remain separate from the person of a Brahmin. See? So, just like heat and light are inseparable from the sun, similarly, these 9 qualities are inseparable from a Brahmin. Now, assess yourself. Those who consider themselves to be Brahmin by birth, put that aside. If you call yourself Brahmin, you have got the Janev, you did the Janev, the Upanayan Sanskar, you do puja every day, you come from a Brahmin lineage, your name also suggests that. But all these are not the reasons of being a Brahmin. These 9 points, these 9 qualities, these 9 expressions, these 9 flowers, precious stones, determine a Brahmin. Just as the flower and its fragrance is not separate to the flower, similarly, a Brahmin is whose fragrance is these 9 qualities, and they are swabhavika, natural, without any error in it. Such a person is called Brahmin. Now I shall tell you the proper duties of a Kshatriya. Please listen with all your intelligence, because Arjuna is a Kshatriya, no? So he says, please listen with all intelligence. Who is a Kshatriya? We'll just read this verse and we'll look at it next week. Shauryatejo dhrutirdakshyam, Shauryatejo dhrutirdakshyam, Yuddhe chapya palayanam, Yuddhe chapya palayanam, Danamishwara bhavancha, bhavascha. Danamishwara bhavascha, Kshatram karma swabhavajam, Kshatram karma swabhavajam. Together. Shauryatejo dhrutirdakshyam, Yuddhe chapya palayanam, Danamishwara bhavascha, Kshatram karma swabhavajam. We'll look at it next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I'm planning a retreat now. Maybe in the second week of December or third week. Or even we can do it over the new year. So let's see how it works out, and I'll keep you informed. If you are not on the mailing list, let me know.